Hi, my magical creatures, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is we're going to talk about things that I did not know before getting gender reassignment surgery. And so before we begin, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, a like, and don't forget to subscribe. It's a free way to help your girl out. So let's get started. All right. Okay, so I want to say the first thing that I did not know about gender reassignment surgery is once you get a vagina, like you start to discharge. Like you literally, like your panties and stuff, like you're constantly like have discharge coming out of your vagina. And especially like after you dilate and things, like this, like it's smelly, like it starts to like ooze out of you. And it's like sometimes like I have to wear like panty liners or also too like pads sometimes, just so that way the pad will absorb the discharge or what's left or whatever. And then like I gotta throw it away. There's times where I've had, and like none of the surgeons have told me this, or like no one has told me about it. I didn't even know cis girls go through this. But yeah, like once you get a vagina, like you're gonna be discharging out of your vagina. Like it's always gonna have some type of secretion, some liquid coming out. And it's not gonna be like a heavy flow or anything like that, but it's just gonna be moist. Like you're gonna have moisture in your panties. And there's times where I've had to change like twice because especially like me, like I like to wear like a lot of thongs and things because it's just super comfortable for me. But because the fabric and the material is so thin and it's just like, you know, like those, I have to change those like within the next like like 4 or 5 hours because they're just so drenched. So definitely that is something to keep in mind. So if you want gender reassignment surgery, just know that your vagina is always going to be moist inside and you're always going to have like excretion, you know, things like that. The next thing that they don't tell you about gender reassignment surgery is the smell and the odor when you dilate in your vagina. Like I will literally, like I feel like I have to douche like every time I dilate, like I go and like I douche. So after you get done like dilating or whatever, you definitely want to douche because it's a lot of like dead skin cells in there. Also too, like, you know, it gets smelly in there. So for me, I douche. So you'll get this when you get gender reassignment surgery. So you want to fill this up with like lukewarm water. And then I use pure Castile soap. And this is like what the doctor recommends. So you can get this at Walmart, Amazon, CVS, like whatever. So all you need is like a few drops of this in here. And then you want to fill this up. And then you want to like suck it up with this turkey sucker thingy. And then once you suck it all up, then once the water is in, the soapy water, then you want to put this up your vagina and cleanse and clean yourself out. So for me, I do it like 3 times. And then so your vagina is like nice and soapy inside. And then so I fill this up with regular lukewarm water. And then I just rinse it out 3 times. And that's how I do it. And then I use like this pH soap to kind of like get up in there, and it smells really good. It smells like Victoria's Secret Love Spell lotion. But in the next video, I will be talking about the proper way to clean, cleaning products for your vagina. So yeah. But also, so for me, it's just, for me, I feel like it gets, especially when it's summertime, like you get hot and sweaty. I just feel like it would just be like smelly down there. So like I always gotta, you know, clean before, you know, and dilating. And I recommend dilating first before like putting the douche thing up in you, because if you just do it without dilating, like your vagina is super tight And then so it's gonna hurt when you put it up in there. So dilating helps like relax, like stretches it, relax it, and opens it up, you know. And then when you take it out, go ahead and douche. So, but yeah, so my vagina, it'd be like stinky and stuff. And so for me, I'll just douche right after I dilate. And then after I douche, then I use the pH soap down there. And then I'd be nice and smelling good. But it only lasts for like a day. And then after that, yeah, the next day, it'll start to kind of like lightly smell. And then, yeah, so that's what they don't tell you about gender reassignment surgery after you get it, is that it's going to start smelling down there and stuff like that, smelling like fish and all that. The next thing that they don't tell you about gender reassignment surgery is when you like, so you know how a vagina is, like you like open it up or whatever, and then like you see like, you know, the clitoris and then the vagina and like all that, the urethra and all that. So in between like the clitoris and like the clitoris, the urethra, and then the vagina hole or whatever, in the walls of the lips, I want to say, is that inside of there's going to be like crusties or whatever. Like I forgot what it's called, but I think it's called like sebum, or I don't know what it's called, but basically it's like urine, dead skin cells, oils. It's all built up in there, and it's like all in the crevices inside your vagina. So it's very important that you clean down there. And again, in the next video, I'm going to talk about like the cleaning supplies and stuff like that. But I remember, you know, once I got post-op, I was like a week out of the hospital. And I remember like taking a shower and I looked down there and there's this white, slimy, I'll show a picture of it. But basically it was like a big white slimy thing of it inside like my crevices of my vagina. And I remember just like scraping it out, like trying to get it out or whatever. So it's basically dead skin cells, oils, and then also like your urine, you know. Yeah, and then it's just a buildup in there. So you got to make sure you really like when you take a shower, like spread it and then like really get up in there and clean. And that was something that I was not told about after getting gender reassignment surgery. And yeah, so definitely these tips right here that I'm telling y'all is gold. And then also too, like when getting gender reassignment surgery, the next thing is electrolysis. Yo, like I had to get electrolysis down there it took me about a year and a half to 2 years to get it all done, you know, and I'm gonna be real, it was extremely painful. It's literally, for people that don't know what electrolysis is, it's like a needle and it's like very electric. There's like electricity coming from it, and you put the needle in one hair follicle, one little strand of hair that's down there. And there's like trillions of hairs down there. And then so she zaps you with that. And so she zaps and kills the hair follicle down there. And they have to remove the hair down there. So when you get the gender reassignment surgery, there won't be no hair growing inside your vagina and things like that, you know? So getting that was extremely painful. And for 2 years of getting that, I mean, once a week going there for 2 years, getting that, oh my God, for an hour-long session, because I can only do like an hour. There was times where I've like bled, cried, tears, like everything like that. And they just say, oh, it's going to be fine. Like, it's not that bad. For me, it was that bad. The pain was surreal. It was like a 10 out of 10. Like, the pain was horrible. But I managed. I got through it. And then now I got my vagina, which I'm really happy about. So, yeah, they don't tell you how painful it is after that. Getting the surgery, though, like, it's super easy. Like, once you're in, you get knocked out, and then you wake up, and then you have a vagina. That was probably the most easiest part of getting gender reassignment surgery, but the electrolysis and all that, oh my God, it was so painful. So also too, the last tip I want to say is that they don't really tell, so like depending on what surgeon you go to, luckily for me, the surgeon that I went to, he did classes on getting gender reassignment surgery. So like he showed like his work and stuff. And then during the panel, he also had like some of his post-op patients that like a year later, like once they like fully healed up, like they come and then like you can ask questions and things like that. And which I thought was really, really cool because like I wanted to make sure, because you get like literally one shot at this, you know, and you have to, you know, keep at it, you know, like with the knowledge and knowing like what the surgeon says. And so with that being said, I remember, I think I asked the question. So I saw his work and I was like really impressed. I was like, oh my God, like that's so cool. And then also talking to like the post-op patients in the panel, I remember like so we asked like questions and things. And I remember asking, I think I was like 21 or 22 when I was like at this panel thing. So I was really young, y'all. I remember asking in front of everybody. There was probably like 50 people in the room. And I remember asking, I was like, so, and like these ladies, like they were probably like in their late 30s, 40s or whatever. So they've lived a little, you know. And here I am at 21, 22, like, so when you get it, can you like trick people? I don't think I said trick people, but like, can you sleep with like guys and like they won't know like that you're trans or anything like that? And I remember the whole room went silent. And I remember there was another like another T girl that was there, and she was like just as young as I was. And me and her both locked eyes and looked at each other, and she knew exactly like what I was like. Me and her was both on the same page. You know what I mean? Like we wanted to know like, hey, if we sleep around, like, are they gonna find like, can they tell the difference? You know, stuff like that. And so I remember one of the ladies, she was like, honey, like you need to tell them up front. Like you should not be like trying to like hide it and things like that. It's very important that you are very upfront and tell them. And it was just kind of like she kind of like brushed me off like I was crumbs on her shoulder or something like that. So then when the other T girl that I locked eyes with, she was asking all types of like, I want to say like dirty kind of like sexual inappropriate questions and things like that. Like, oh, like what it tastes like if he goes down on you, like just stuff like that. And they were like, oh yes, girl, like this be girl, yes, this would be going on and stuff like that. And I was just looking at them like, y'all gonna dismiss me. But with her asking all these like questions and things, like I was like, whatever. So yeah, basically now that I'm 28, definitely tell them before tell them like after. But to be honest with y'all, like I've had my guy friends look at it and see it, and they were like, yo, we would never know, especially if the lights are turned off, like they would have never known. So, and I've also had encounters with some guys that like seen it and things, and they didn't know I was trans. So yeah. So yes, and I know I said that was the last tip, but I have one more tip that I wanted to say is dilating. When you dilate, sometimes depending on like how skinny you are or your skin or how fast you're a fast healer, there's times, so you're going to be, when you first get out the hospital, you're going to have to dilate 4 times a day for 15 minutes. For me, I've had to dilate probably like 20 to almost 30 minutes just because my vagina for some reason kept trying to close up really like quickly. And I remember telling my surgeon about it, and he said, okay, you're gonna have to dilate more than the average. So that is something too that they don't tell you. So depending, if you're a fast healer, you're probably gonna have to dilate more than 4 times a day for 15 minutes. You're probably gonna have to dilate 4 to 5 times a day. And you're probably gonna have to dilate for like maybe like 20, 30 minutes to get it like all the way up in there. So definitely, yeah. So these are all like the things that I wish I knew before getting gender reassignment surgery. But you know, you learn as you go once you get it. So hopefully this video will help you out if you want gender reassignment surgery or planning on getting it. So yeah, don't forget to like this video, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay magical.